Hello everyone! It is time to play the TBR game for the first time since the kittens are here, so this should be fun. If you hear noise in the background, it is them. I'll put you down to play. Okay, I love you too. It is now the month of August, so it is time to play the TBR game again. So this is Boxwood the Librarian. It's a Chutes and Ladders board. So the way the game works is I take 5 rolls of the dice, a single 6-sided die, and I move my character around the board. My goal is to get to the very end, and when I get to the end, I get the reward of I can purchase a book guilt-free. There are 5 different colors on the board, and each of those is associated with a card. So we have our yellow cards are our clover cards. These are cover and title prompts. Our blue cards are the pellet cards, which are genre-ish. It also includes some time periods. Our pink cards are the Bunventure cards, and these have to do with plot, setting, and those sorts of things. Character, I think, as well. Then we have our Mr. Bund cards. These ones have to do with author and publisher. And we have our green cards, which are the Binky cards, and these cards are some sort of game that I play in order to pick a book. I also have these carrots, which are my reward cards. Now, I can get a reward a few different ways. One is if I go up a ladder, I get to pick a reward. The other one is I get to pick a reward when I finish the board. I also get to pick a reward when I finish my TBR from the month before. If I go down a chute, then I have to add an extra roll to the game. So that means that I will have to pick 6 books and so on and so forth. So I will start by telling you guys about my TBR from last month and how I did with it. So I had to read a young adult book. And so for that, I had picked How to Treat Magical Beasts by Kazuya. This is a manga, a young adult manga, and I did finish that one. I had to roll a decade spinner wheel and choose a book that was published in the decade that it landed on. And for that, I got Borrower of the Night by Elizabeth Peters from the 1970s. And unfortunately, I didn't get to that one. I had to spin a series wheel and read the next book in that series. And for that one, I got the Longmire series, and I'm restarting the series. So The Cold Dish by Craig Johnson is the first one, and I did finish that one. I had to read a book from a genre that I don't normally read. So for that, I had picked The Whistling by Rebecca Netley, which is a ghost story, and I don't normally read ghost stories and horror that much. Unfortunately, I didn't get to this one yet. I will be reading that one this coming month. And I had to pick a book that was by an author that I've enjoyed before. Hi, Raven. Bye, Raven. By an author that I've enjoyed before. And for that, I picked The Hunger of the Gods by John Gwynne, and I got started on it, but haven't finished it yet. So essentially what that means is that I don't get to pick a reward for this month. But we will go ahead and play the game anyway and see what I end up picking for this month. So let's go ahead and start with roll number 1. So it appears that Yoongi is going to help me roll number 1. Let's see. I got a 2. All right, so we're going to move 1, 2. And we are on a clover card. For our first card, we ended up with a clover card. So this should be a cover or title prompt. So I'll just shuffle them up. Cut the deck and we'll take the top card. All right, let's show you guys first. Choose a book with an animal on the cover. Okay. So I will find a book with an animal on the cover. So for a book with an animal on the cover, I chose Murder Past Due by Miranda James. This is a cozy mystery. It's the first in a mystery series that I've been wanting to read. So your main character is librarian Charlie Harris, and he has a Maine Coon cat named Diesel, who is a player in the story. And in this one, we have the famous author of a set of gory bestsellers and a former classmate of Charlie's who comes home. And within the first little while of his homecoming, he is making enemies of everyone. And then by dinner time, he is dead. So then Charlie has to help try and solve the mystery. So that one looks like it'll be really fun. And I've been wanting to get into that series. All right, let's continue on with roll number 2. Okay, roll number 2. Ooh, a 6. That's a big number. All right, so we're going to move little Eeyore here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is a pink card, which is a Bun Venture. Moki here is going to help me pick my Bun Venture card. Here they are. So this is character and setting and stuff like that. I think he wants to go down. I hope that noise in the background isn't that audible, because boy, those kittens are noisy. All right. Okay, I'll show you guys first. Read a fairy tale or myth retelling. All right, I will see what I can find for that. For a book that has a myth retelling, I am going to actually read this one. It's called Rheingold by Stephen Grundy. And I have been wanting to read this book for years. I've had it for years. I think I actually borrowed it from my brother. I'm pretty sure it's his. And I never gave it back to him. But it is a Norse myth retelling. It's a story based on the myth of the otter's gold. It involves Thor and Loki, and they end up killing this otter who isn't actually an otter. And they have to pay his father back with gold, and it becomes a cursed treasure. And then there's all this other stuff that happens. So that's what this one is based on. So I am going to use this as finally get a chance to read this one. All right, let's move on now to roll number 3. Roll number 3. 4. Okay. 1, 2. Thank goodness I missed that one. 3, 4. We are on a yellow card, which is our Clover card again. All right. Next up, we have a Clover card. And, okay, fine, Squirmy. They don't sit as nicely as they used to. Okay, so this is another cover or title prompt. I'm going to shuffle them up again. And then we will cut the deck and pick the top card. Show it to you guys. Choose a book with a cat on the cover. Dang it! I already used my cat book. Okay, well, we will see what I come up with for this one. I chose I Am a Cat by Soseki Natsumi. This is a book that I'm reading for another challenge as well, so it works out quite perfectly. And this one is a Japanese translation of a classic Japanese novel. It is actually 3 volumes in one, so we'll see how far I get as to whether even if I finish the first volume, I could consider that finishing the first portion of the story, because it is 3 books in one. But we'll see how it goes. If I can get through the whole thing, that would be even better. You're following a unloved, unwanted, wandering kitten who spends his time observing human nature. And it's allegorical and delightfully readable, apparently. And it looks super interesting. It was originally written in the early 1900s. 1905 and 1906. It appeared in 10 installments in the literary magazine Hotato Gisu, or Cuckoo, between 1905 and 1906. So it's a classic novel, and I've been really interested in reading it. So that is my 3rd book. All right, on to roll number 4. Let's see if we can pick something a little shorter this time. All right, roll number 4. A 1. Wow. All right, so we're going to move 1, and we are hitting a Bunventure card again. We rarely hit Bunventure, so this is cool. We got it twice now. We have our Bunventure cards again, so we will go ahead and shuffle them. Now cut the deck. I'll take this one. Let's show it to you guys first. Choose a book set in a different country. Well, that's actually probably a fairly easy one since there's a lot of books that aren't set in Canada. So I will pick a book and be right back. For a book set in not Canada, I have chosen to read The Kaiju Preservation Society by John Scalzi. This one is not only set in the United States, it is also set in another dimension. So it definitely is not Canada, unless Canada is another dimension, which some days it seems like. So this one I've read one John Scalzi book so far already and loved it. So I'm looking forward to this. This one takes place in New York City. You have Jamie Gray, who is in a dead-end job as a delivery driver. And he is during the pandemic. He makes a delivery to an old acquaintance who offers him a job helping with an animal rights organization. They need someone to help on their next field visit. The only thing is that it is in another dimension and it is looking after large monsters called kaiju. So really looking forward to that because I love John Scalzi. So I will put that one on the TBR. Now let's move on to our hopefully final roll, number 5. All right, let's do our final roll. And we got a 5. Okay, little Eeyore, let's move you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Another Bunventure. We're back with the Bunventure cards again. Let's mix them up again for the 3rd time. This is kind of fun because I haven't seen any of these prompts in a long time since I never land on this square. All right. I have to choose a book with a main character of color. Well, I happen to have a really good one. I am going to read The Underground Railroad by Colson Whitehead. This one was on the New York Times bestseller list of the top 100 books of the 21st century. And I've been wanting to read it. It was one of the ones on the list that looked the most interesting to me. In this one, you're following Cora, who's a slave on a cotton plantation in Georgia. And she tries to escape using the Underground Railroad. But in this world that Colson Whitehead has created, the railroad is actually a real railroad. So it's kind of like a bit of, I think, magical realism sort of thing, and as well as historical. And it just looks like it will be a really, really interesting book about a very interesting time period. And I'm sure it will have a lot of lessons applicable to today. So I'm going to add that one to the TBR, which means that my TBR for this month for my game includes these ones. So for a book with a main character of color, I have The Underground Railroad by Colson Whitehead. A book set not in Canada, I have The Kaiju Preservation Society by John Scalzi. For a book with a cat on the cover, I have I Am a Cat by Soseki Natsumi. For a book that is a myth or a fairy tale retelling, I have Rheingold by Stephen Grundy. And for a book with an animal on the cover, I have Murder Past Due by Miranda James. So these are the books that are in my TBR game, but I do have a few other books that I need to tell you about. First of all, my short story collection. I am still reading the most boring book of ghost stories ever written on the planet, The Ghost Stories of Edith Wharton. I'm going to continue it. I have found one story so far of the 4 that I like. I'm determined to finish it, so I will keep reading that one this month. Then I'm also taking part in 3 different challenges. I've got the buzzword challenges from Books and Lala. There's the cover challenge and the title challenge. And then there's the BTS Book Club challenge from the BTS Book Club on Twitter. For the buzzword cover prompt, the prompt this month is transportation. So for that one, I have chosen to read Everybody on This Train is a Suspect by Benjamin Stevenson, which is the sequel to Everyone in My Family Has Killed Someone, which I really enjoyed last year. For the buzzword title prompt, it's the word with, and I'm going to read The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo by Stieg Larsson, which is a book that has been on my TBR for many years and I haven't gotten to, so hopefully I'll get to that one. We'll see this month with a lot of other big books to read. And for the BTS book club prompt, challenge, the prompt is a translated book. And for that one, I had chosen to read Welcome to the Hainam-dong Bookshop by Hwang Bo-rum, which is a Korean translation. And I actually did read that already this month, so that frees me up for one book that I've already finished for the challenge. So I will go ahead and read those as well. So I am looking forward to all the books that I'm going to read this month. I hope that I have a really good reading month. The last couple have been a little on the rough side, but let me know down in the comments if you have read any of the books on my list and what your favorite one was, and if there's any that you didn't like. Make it spoiler free, of course. And I will see you guys soon on my next video. Bye.